Hello, it is Tuesday the 13th of January 2026 and these are your news headlines. Britain's biggest ever welfare fraud is back in the spotlight as one of the key offenders has been ordered to repay every penny she gained from the £54 million conspiracy. Svetlana Todorova, a 54-year-old Bulgarian national, was jailed for 3 years back in May 2024 for her role in the organised benefits scam. She was released from prison around 18 months ago and has been claiming universal credit ever since. Investigators found she personally profited by more than £263,000 during the fraud. Todorova told reporters she was now living what she called a poor life and said she had been left with no choice but to claim benefits. Her husband is reported to receive around £1,300 a month in universal credit. She also insisted she would not repay the money despite a formal order requiring her to do so. The Department for Work and Pensions has confirmed that a review is underway into the decision to award the couple benefits, and that Todorova will be required to return all funds she has received. She told the Daily Mail she had no intention of complying, pointing to a 2-bedroom house in Bulgaria valued at £90,000, which she says cannot be seized because it is jointly owned with her husband. During the original investigation, Todorova described her time in prison as like a vacation, boasting of having her hair and nails done whilst in custody. She now claims to be unwell and depressed, saying both she and her husband are struggling with health problems. Todorova was one of 5 offenders jailed at Wood Green Crown Court in 2024. Together, they received a combined 25-year sentence for orchestrating a vast network of forged documents and fraudulent universal credit claims. All members of the gang, apart from one, have now been released from prison and are awaiting deportation. Deportations were delayed until confiscation proceedings were completed. So far, UK prosecutors have recovered just £1 million of the stolen funds and believe a further £1 million may be traceable. Support honest journalism. Make sure you like, leave a comment and subscribe. No bias, no bullshit, only the facts. In the United States, the BBC is seeking to have President Donald Trump's lawsuit against the corporation dismissed, according to new court filings. Documents submitted late on Monday evening UK time show the broadcaster intends to argue that the Florida court hearing the case lacks personal jurisdiction, that the venue is improper, and that the president has failed to state a viable legal claim. The lawsuit was launched after the BBC acknowledged that edited footage of the president's January 6, 2021 speech, broadcast in a 2024 edition of Panorama, made it appear as though he had encouraged the subsequent Capitol riot. 2 separate moments from the speech were spliced together, creating the impression he told supporters he would go with them to the Capitol to fight like hell. In the original speech, he said he would walk with them to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. The president is seeking up to $10 billion in damages across 2 counts. The BBC has asked the court to pause all other discovery until the motion to dismiss is resolved. In Europe, the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe is facing controversy over a proposal that would criminalise questioning a person's self-declared gender identity under an expanded definition of conversion practices. The proposal, tabled by UK Labour MP Kate Osborne, seeks to treat non-affirmation of a chosen gender identity in the same category as attempts to change or suppress sexual orientation. Activists have pushed for transgender identity to be included in the definition, which traditionally referred only to efforts to cure homosexuality. The Council of Europe is separate from the EU and includes almost all European countries. Its most significant achievement is the European Convention on Human Rights, enforced by the Strasbourg Court since 1950. Supporters say the proposal aligns with evolving human rights standards. Critics argue it risks criminalising legitimate debate, safeguarding concerns, and therapeutic work with people experiencing gender distress. The move comes amid what observers describe as a structural transformation in how European institutions understand sex and gender in law and governance. Back in the UK, a record number of illegal worker arrests have been made in nail bars, car washes, barbers, and takeaway shops over the past 18 months, according to new Home Office figures. Arrests have risen by 83% since July 2024, following more than 17,400 immigration enforcement raids across London, the West Midlands, and the South West. In total, 2,300 people were detained for attempting to undercut legitimate workers and hide in plain sight. Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood said enforcement activity had been increased to the highest level in British history. More than 2,100 arrests were made in London last year, a 47% rise on 2024. The West Midlands and the South West each recorded more than 1,100 arrests, with increases of 76 and 91% respectively. Of those detained, 1,726 people have been returned to their home countries, a 35% rise on the previous 18-month period. Support honest journalism. Make sure you like, leave a comment and subscribe. No bias, no bullshit, only the facts. A Kurdish asylum seeker has been jailed for 7 years for raping an 18-year-old woman in a park near Tamworth in the Midlands, just days after meeting her through a social media app. Mehmet Oga, who had been living at the Holiday Inn Express in Tamworth, attacked the woman last January and later sent her messages apologising for what he had done. He denied wrongdoing at trial but was convicted of rape and attempted rape at Stafford Crown Court last summer. The victim said the rape had completely destroyed her and that she did not believe she would ever fully recover. 2 Metropolitan Police officers who sexually assaulted a woman at a London casino have been spared jail as a judge criticised the force for what he called training issues. Jerome Beasley and Luke Robinson were caught on CCTV repeatedly touching the woman without her consent while off duty at the Hippodrome in April 2024. Both pleaded guilty to multiple counts of sexual assault and were dismissed from the Met for gross misconduct. Each received a suspended sentence, unpaid work requirements, curfews, restraining orders and compensation orders. In Scotland, growing concerns have been raised about the safety of homeless women in Glasgow amid a campaign for more female-only temporary accommodation. The Scottish Tenants Organisation is calling for urgent reform after women described widespread sexual violence, exploitation, and unsafe conditions in mixed-gender homeless hotels. One woman, identified only as Amy, said she witnessed deaths, drug use, and women being forced into sex work during her stay in a city centre hotel. Freedom of Information data shows that as of November 19th, 2025, 2,497 homeless people were living in hotels or B&Bs in Glasgow. 393 of them women. 17 homeless people died in temporary accommodation between January and November last year. Campaigners are urging the council to adopt a model similar to the Welcome Centre in Belfast, which offers 24-hour trauma-informed support. And in the United States, 2 women incarcerated at Sentry Regional Detention Facility in Linwood, California, have alleged they were sexually assaulted by a jail staff member in a blind spot out of view of security cameras. The women are among dozens of plaintiffs in a federal lawsuit alleging sexual abuse, coercion, and retaliation by male deputies. Both women say they were assaulted while handcuffed in a dark stairwell and claim they were later subjected to punishment, including long periods in solitary confinement. The LA County Sheriff's Department says it is investigating and maintains a zero-tolerance policy towards sexual abuse in its facilities. Civil rights attorney Brian Dunn has asked a judge to bar male deputies from viewing women in the shower or transporting them to and from showers. Oversight commissioners say they have heard graphic and horrific stories of abuse during unannounced visits. One woman said she remains confined to her cell for 23 hours a day and that many inmates feel unable to speak out due to shame, trauma, and fear of retaliation. Don't miss the next bulletin. Subscribe, like, and comment today. No bias, no bullshit, just straight reporting.